Yo, 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 this your boy Larry, and I'm chilling and vibing with Javon. How you doing?
I am doing good, Larry. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I appreciate you for coming on.
Anytime, anytime. You good in my book.
Hey, man, I'm gonna start it off, man. What inspired you to, become an author?
So I have a very unique story, and I felt like a lot of people could benefit from it. It can help a lot of people, heal a lot of people, and make a lot of people more informed about things that happen within the hospitals, things as far as mental health, and things as far as family as well. So that was the whole purpose of me writing my book, My Last Breath.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what happened?
So, August the 2nd, 2022, my birthday. I woke up that day not feeling well, and I hadn't been feeling well for a couple of months before that. So I was in and out of the hospital for since March of that year all the way up until July. And on the day of my birthday, when I woke up, I realized that I was short of breath and I couldn't breathe. So one of my friends came by to check on me, to wish me happy birthday, and I told them to call 911. And so when the ambulance got there, they took they were monitoring my oxygen, and they said it was dropping below 50. So they had to rush me to the emergency room. And by the time I got there, by nightfall, my lungs collapsed. So I immediately had to go on life support. So they placed me on life support. And during that time while I was on it, the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, what was causing me to all of my organs to fail. So it was my lungs that collapsed, then my kidneys were failing, my heart was inflamed, and my liver as well. So after being there for maybe almost a week, the hospital told my parents that there was nothing else that they could do. But at that time, I needed to go on dialysis. And so my parents said, well, if you put her on dialysis, then there's nothing that you can do. She's going to die here. And one of the nurses came in and told them, yes, so you would need to get her out of here. And so they ended up transporting me to another hospital where I was then placed on ECMO, which is like a super duper form of life support. It takes the blood out of your body, cleans it, provides it with more oxygen, and puts it back into your body. So imagine having a big tube in the side of your neck, one in your groin. Then you got the dialysis machine. You got all these other machines just hooked up all over you. And so while there, the doctors ended up finding out that I had lupus, and that was the cause of everything that was happening. Granted, I already was living with scleroderma, which is also a connective tissue autoimmune disease, and it mainly affects like your skin and your organs. So now I'm living with two, but the lupus was super aggressive. So while on ECMO, I had a stroke, brain hemorrhage, and of course I was paralyzed. So they told my parents that I had 14 days on that treatment to respond. And if I didn't respond by the 14th day, then they would have to take me off of the machine and prepare for my exit from this world. So on the 14th day, my parents and 12 doctors came in surrounding the bed, and they were telling my parents that my organs weren't responding. So it's basically the machines were keeping me alive, and there was nothing else that they could do. And as they were speaking to my parents, they started to see movement within my organs. So it went uphill all the way from there. But I spent 3 months in four different facilities, including rehab, relearning how to walk again, talk again, eat again. I was paralyzed for 2 out of the 3 months. Um, and it was super traumatic because I experienced so much mistreatment while in the hospital. Granted, I had the best support system in the world. Like, my mama didn't miss not one day. 8 a.m., 9 p.m., every single day, no matter where I was. But all of the mistreatment was on night shift. And by me being in ICU, nobody could stay the night. So throughout that journey, I experienced a lot. I witnessed a lot. I took my last breath twice at two different hospitals. And so I'm just here now telling my story.
Yeah, man, hearing that story, oh my God. You better have tears come from my eyes, man.
Listen, I had to cut it short because I was getting a little choked up.
Yeah, man. So like, what was that experience? After, well, saying going through that in the different hospitals.
It was so hard because when I was in the first one, I just remember them putting the mask on me and I went out. Now, when you're on life support, they often tell people talk to them, they can hear you. I literally couldn't hear anything. You ever seen the movie Get Out when he was falling and it was like black? When you're in a coma, it's literally pitch black and you're just staring straight ahead in the dark. That's it. Like you're not looking sideways, you're not able to move. You're just literally just sitting there staring in the pitch black. And then one day you wake up. So when I woke up and I saw that I realized that I was at a different facility, I kind of panicked because I didn't know what had happened. And when I panicked, I noticed that I couldn't move or I couldn't speak. So instantly I was like, oh my God, like I'm paralyzed and I can't talk. Like I don't want to live. Like don't keep me here on this earth like this. And my mom ran in and she heard the machine. So she was like, oh, she's awake, she's awake. And so she was like, calm down, jvonne. Let me call the doctors and let them explain. But even when the doctors came in and explained, they never told me that I would be able to walk again or talk again. They just said that they had to put me in a coma and I was paralyzed. They didn't know if my body would start back responding or if I would be like that for the rest of my life. And I just instantly started crying. I was just like, oh my God, take me out, let me go. But what saved me was when my mom, she was like, you got to keep fighting for Riley. And that's my daughter's name. I had completely forgot all about her. Like, I don't know if the stroke just like took my memory for a moment, but I forgot all about her. But when she mentioned her name, it was like a light bulb click. And I was just like, oh man, I gotta do whatever I can do to get some type of normalcy. But yeah,
Yeah, man. That's that's why I brought you on, man. I had to hear this story. I had to hear this story because I saw the photos, man, and the
yeah,
videos, and I was like, man, she got a story to tell, and I want to hear it.
yeah.
And
And I'm having to live my story through different people because my support system was so phenomenal, and like all of them, they made sure they took the pictures, they did the videos. I had one friend do like a documentary for me, like each day. And so it's amazing to see how well I was responding to a lot of different things. And then it was also hurtful to see a lot of the days that I was crying and couldn't tell people why. Like it didn't know that I had a stage 4 bed sore to where my tailbone was exposed because they would always make my people leave the room when they would change me. And then on night shift, they would leave me in feces for hours at a time without changing me. Like it was a lot. And so they had a clock that was in front of me, and I would literally I would sleep all day and stay up all night because I wanted to see everything that was happening. And so I would look at it all the way until it hit 8 o'clock that next day when I knew my mom was going to be walking.
yeah, so after going through that experience, and you witnessing that, what would you tell? What I'm saying, did you talk to like the facility
Oh, yeah.
about what was going on?
So I talked to almost every single one of the facilities. The only one that I didn't really speak to was the one that I had the most traumatic experience. And that was just because I'm still not ready. And I feel like I'm at a point of rage still when I think about it. So I want to be able to go and speak to them with a level head so that they can understand and hear what I'm saying versus me still being upset and very emotional about it. Even though when you deal with trauma, like you can never really get over that. It's gonna be something that's always a part of you. And even at the one where I took my last breath, I did speak to them for sure. And that was because the nurse forgot to give me my medicine and I had a really bad panic attack and flatline and had an out of body experience. But the main one where I experienced the most trauma was the main one that also saved my life. So it's just like a tug of war type thing.
So I gotta ask, how was that out of body experience?
Oh man, it was amazing. You know, so within my book, I give you guys like a lot of juice, a lot of details of everything. But having that out of body experience, I'm trying to see how I can put it without giving too much. But it's one of those things to where when you experience it, you literally do not want to come back to this world. Like literally, like the things that you see, the things that you feel, it's like beyond what you can imagine. And like when I got there, I'm just like, don't send me back down there, keep me here. But it wasn't my time.
So, writing that book, how was that process?
It was tough. It was really, really tough. A lot of days where we would sit down in my sessions, I would write, I would cry, I would yell, I would just shut down. Because I had to have a therapist when I was writing because I think that was super important to help me along that journey to pull things out of me that I didn't know I could get out. And then it also helped me discover a lot of things that I still haven't um processed also. So I need to go back to therapy for a lot of different things. But it was extremely tough because it's like I'm sharing my most intimate parts with people, a lot of people that I don't know. And it's like I want people to be able to receive it in the way that I received it, in the way that I felt it. And a lot of the reviews from people are basically saying, like, I feel like I was there with you. And that's what I was going for. But that process was extremely hard and emotional and difficult. But I'm glad I was able to get through it.
So, we're talking about therapy. A lot of people don't realize how good therapy is, and they feel like therapy is only for, the weak. How do you feel about it? Because I'm gonna tell you first though. I
Mm-hmm.
did it. I did it also one time, and
Mm-hmm.
it really helped me out, man. To open up and express how I really felt.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I got from it. I'm one of the strongest people you will ever meet. And 95% of the people you ask about me, they'll tell you that. So for me to go to therapy, it took a lot, but I knew when I finally came home that I needed help because adjusting to being back in the everyday world, but now having to live during that time with assistance, it was hard because I'm so independent. Like I don't ask nobody for anything, and it's hard to ask for help. So with therapy, it helped me process a lot of that anger, a lot of that hurt, a lot of the disappointment, a lot of the unknown as well. And it was super helpful for me in the beginning, but then towards the middle of it, towards the middle and the end, I felt like I was holding back again. Like I felt like I hit a reset button, like, I don't want to tell you all this. I don't want to go that deep, but I needed to. So I'm gonna have to go back to really open up to get the full experience that I need. But I would tell anybody to go to therapy. As long as it's the right therapist that fits you, do it.
So Javon, if somebody want to, saying, read your book or order it, how could they reach you?
So you guys can get my book, My Last Breath by jvonne Bell. You can order it from Amazon, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, the Apple Bookstore, and also you can reach out to me directly to purchase it from me on hand. And you can contact me via Facebook at jvonne Bell, or you can email me at jvonnebell@gmail.com.
So Javon, I got one more question.
Okay.
What advice would you give someone who's dealing with, you know, trauma?
I would tell them to never give up. As hard as it can be, as draining as it can be, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you just have to find your why when you're going through your most vulnerable and hardest moments of life. Um, I had to learn that God put me through it for a reason, and to be on the other side of it, it's a beautiful feeling, and to finally know my purpose. So when you're dealing with hardship, face it head on, and don't give up on yourself.
Okay. Well, Javon, I appreciate you for coming on. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing.
We vibing and chilling, y'all.
Hey, appreciate you.